Hello, I'm 48 Nation, and today I'm going to be explaining why I think big ones at Superspeedways will be less common with the next-gen car. In 2022, NASCAR introduced the new next-gen car that is more equipped to be looking like a street car and also creates better racing besides the track in the background. We first saw this car at the Clash, and then at LA Coliseum, and then we went to the Daytona 500. I noticed something at the Daytona 500 that many other people might have seen also. We did see a lot of crashes, but there wasn't that many cars involved. I thought to myself after that race, maybe that was just a fluke. We had a lot of crashes, so yeah, there was still a lot of wrecking. But then we went to Atlanta, which was, I guess, newly a super speedway. And Atlanta Motor Speedway, they were even closer together than that Daytona, really. And they had a lot of crashes, but in all those crashes, there was only about 5 or 6 cars involved. I think maybe the biggest one was about 8. I don't exactly remember. But I'm going to give you some examples of why I think that big ones exceeding 10 plus cars will be more of a rarity than they were in past years. My first example I will be giving is at the last crash of the Atlanta race this year. This one, there was a 3-car crash right in the middle of the pack. Only 3 cars involved out of a 15-car plus pack is pretty unheard of in today's NASCAR. Yes, you could argue that they just kind of hit the wall and then, they were out of the way of the rest of the pack, but I do think that the next-gen car with their bigger brakes allowed the people behind the wreck to stop easier without spinning out and wrecking into the other cars, which is what you've seen in a lot of other huge ones at super speedways on the front stretch in the past. My next example comes from about mid-race in the Atlanta race, where Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson got turned off the front of Denny Hamlin, literally in second place, and there was only 2 cars involved in that crash. I feel like if that were the Gen 6, we would have been seeing probably 6 cars involved. It really wasn't. They turned into the outside wall, but I'm sure someone would have lost control and spun up into the outside wall with the Gen 6, considering that, the Gen 6 seemed like you could spin out a lot easier. With the next gen, they could stop. They could literally move their car out of the way with the bigger tires and the bigger brakes, and they were able to not be involved in the crash. My third example is also at the Atlanta race, where Tyler Reddick basically wrecked in front of the field again. This time he had a tire go down in the middle of the corner, which in the thumbnail you can see Matt DiBenedetto got turned in the Daytona 500 and collected the entire field. This one I think this was actually the biggest crash of the race, and there was only about maybe 8 to 10 cars involved, and most of them were able to continue even beyond that crash, which is something that the Gen 6 could have never said. My last 2 clips come from the Talladega race this year, where Joey Logano crashes in front of the field on a restart, and I think only 8 cars were involved in this crash, which I think is all down to how the brakes work on these cars. And the second clip here is from the last lap, where Kyle Larson sent Kurt Busch and Bubba Wallace and William Byron into the wall, and out of the entire pack, only 4 cars spun out or crashed, which is really insane. So I think the reason why big ones will not be as common as they used to be on super speedways is because of the brakes on the cars and the bigger tires. I think that the brakes allow cars to stop quicker and avoid massive crashes that pile up and block the front straightaway or backstretch or the corners or whatever. And I think the bigger tires allow them to steer out of the way easier and quicker than the old cars. You saw with the old cars in the Gen 6 era, like, you'd see people wreck in front of the field and no one would have any time to stop. And you see with these cars, they're able to brake easier in a straight line and in the corners, because to avoid a big crash, because they've got bigger brakes. And that's just as simple as that. Thank you for watching, and this is a little different content than I'm used to on my channel, but I wanted to make this video because I wanted to get something off my chest. So thank you for watching. See you later. Goodbye.